Okay guys, so we're back. I've shaped and filed and buffed all the top of the nails and everything, and now I'm going to show you how to clean them. Before you apply your acrylics, you want to make sure that you have a completely clear and clean base to work with, meaning there can be no filings, there can be no epithelials, no dead skin. Everything is clean from the nail. I take alcohol and I spritz it on my lint-free wipe or paper towel in this case, and we scrub the nail to get all of the stuff off of the nail. Okay, I usually use one clean wipe per hand. Okay, and you even want to make sure that you get the dust from underneath, just in case your own hand brings it up and around the client's finger and cause it, you don't want to cause any lifting. So I'm going to take another couple of little squares here. Okay, I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to saturate it with some alcohol. Okay, alcohol also helps dehydrate a little bit. So you definitely want to clean. There are cleaners out there. I know Organic has a cleaner. Gosh, there's just so many of them to clean the nail plate off with. I personally like just using alcohol. It's inexpensive. It works perfectly for the purpose. You know, I don't need to spend oodles of money on that, so why should I? So right now her nails look really well. I'm going to zoom you in, guys. Okay, if I wanted to, I could put some clear acrylic on these and they would look beautiful. They'd look natural. You could do a silk wrap over these or anything that you would like to do. We're going to be applying a color glitter mix on the tip and then clear across the top of the thing, and I'm going to show you guys how I do that. I'm going to start with this hand, so move this hand back there, please. We have our dehydrator and our primer, and I'm going to explain something. I've seen lots and lots of ladies say, oh, I use 3 coats of primer. Oh, I use 4 coats of primer. Primer is a liquid. You are moisturizing the nail plate every single time you use a primer. Even though the primer is used for adherence, you are still, if you use too much of it, you're going to cause lifting. I'm just going to say, you know, tell you how it is. If you use too much of it, you're going to cause lifting. My goal is to make sure that my clients have their acrylics on for as long as possible. There's no, I don't usually put a set on in the hopes of soaking it off in 2 weeks. Now, I know a lot of ladies do that. A lot of ladies like to change their tips continuously. Unfortunately, that does damage the natural nail. For the healthiest nail plate, the best thing that you can do for your client is plan on having their acrylics on for a long time. I have women who have had them on for 2 years. They come every 2 weeks for fills, and I haven't had to redo an entire set. Every once in a while an accident happens, you have to replace a nail, but you definitely shouldn't be, you know, soaking off and reapplying, soaking off and reapplying, soaking off and reapplying. That's just not what's best for the natural nail. I personally do it because I'm obsessed with changing my nails all the time, but you know, for your client, you definitely want to do as best you can, you know, and not cause lifting. Adding too much primer can cause lifting. I'm applying the dehydrator to up along the cuticle once again. It doesn't need to go on the tip. The tip is plastic. Doesn't matter. If this were a long natural nail, you would want to make sure that you get the primer along the free edge of the nail. But because this is a tip, I'm not worried about the free edge. And you don't want to use a ton either. You do not want to touch the skin because that can cause irritation, and exposure determines toxicity. Everything has a toxicity level. Your skin can have a reaction to something. Maybe not the first time, maybe not the second time, but the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So exposure determines toxicity. You want to make sure not to touch the client's skin with this. This is a harsh chemical, and even though this is an acid-free, you just want to get it on the nail plate along the cuticle area. Okay? It doesn't even have to cover the entire nail plate, just along the cuticle area, okay? It spreads like wildfire. You can see that as soon as it hits the nail plate, okay? The less amount of this you get on the client's skin, the better off they're going to be over time. I want to keep my clients for as long as possible. And if they start getting a reaction on their skin to primers, they're not going to come to me for acrylics anymore. And we all know that acrylics is money. You know what I mean? Honestly, that's why we do it. So then we have our nails are all prepped and ready for an acrylic application. I'm going to take my liquid here. And I'm going to take my brush and I am going to what they call prime my brush. I'm going to soak it in the acrylic a little bit, get all the air bubbles out of it. Okay, I like to have my brush fully primed, which means completely submerged, bubble free. Okay, and then I'm ready to go. I'm gonna do all the tip colors first, and then I'm gonna go in and do the nail beds. I'm gonna demonstrate one tip and then I'm gonna do the rest and I'll come back. So let me zoom in a little bit, and we're gonna move this way a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna take my liquid, take a tiny little bit of acrylic, just a tiny little bead, and because her nails are so small, I'm not even gonna use the whole thing. And I'm basically going to form a tip using this glitter mix, okay? Now I do want a smile line, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add a tiny little bit to this corner here, like this, okay? And I'm going to bring it across. Okay, so there's the tip. And now we're going to do the acrylic part, and this is where you want to be as careful as you can be because you can cause lifting. I'm going to take a bead of clear and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the nail and let it set. I'm basically going to draw it to the front of the nail, and we have our first bead complete. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to stay in the frame and still be comfortable. I'm going to take another bead, and it's a pretty wet bead, and I'm going to place it right here, and I'm going to squish it down up toward the cuticle, and then I'm just basically going to touch and drag the sides down toward the natural tip. Okay, I see a little spot that I missed, so I'm going to take a little bit of extra acrylic. I'm going to place it here, and I'm going to pull, and I have my acrylic. Okay,
it's pretty. It's really pretty.
It is very pretty.
I like the black.
Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to do all the nails, and I'll come back to show you how they look.